A shark bit off a tourist's hands as she tried to take a selfie on the beach. What are the enhanced games? Well, they're like Olympics on steroids. And the police warn bald men after some ritual attacks in Mozambique. These are the weird stories for Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. We're bringing it to you. It's weird. It's daily. Here we go. A shark bit off a Canadian woman's hands when she tried to take a photo. We have this Canadian woman who sadly suffered some very severe injuries when she attempted to take a photograph of a shark near a Turks and Caicos beach. This is called the nature selfie, and it's Darwin's way of limiting dumb human evolution. This is where you get these guys getting trampled by bison in Yellowstone Park, people getting mauled by moose in Canada, all trying to get selfies for likes. It's very sad. Let's keep reading and find out if this woman's going to be okay. Hopefully she lived. Waiting in the shallows, this woman tried to engage with the shark so she could capture a picture. Instead, the shark bit off both of her hands. Not one, both hands. Imagine, both hands. I can't. Like, I don't understand how the shark took off both hands. I mean, I'm really stumped. There's some details here, and they're a little bit ghastly, just giving you a heads up. One of the woman's hands was amputated at the wrist by the shark. The other was severed midway down her forearm. The victim, reportedly 55 years old. 55 years old? I was going to guess it was a 25-year-old. This is a 55-year-old? Wow. Didn't expect that at all. Well, you're off the hook, Gen Z, on this one, for sure. For sure. Imagine you make it to 55, right? All those years. And then you lose your hands because you need some sort of social media validation. I mean, it's so sad on so many levels. Okay, so she attempted to, quote, engage the shark. I don't know what that means. Like, put her arm around the shark while taking the photo? Telling the shark to smile, I don't think that works. A man who said he was the woman's relative said she was able to walk back to shore after the attack. She was bitten in the thigh, he added, but did not lose her leg. Her husband bravely tried to fight off the shark, according to witnesses, as it continued to circle and try to bite the woman again. Wow, this guy got in there and fought the shark. What kind of shark was this? All right, it says here this was a bull shark, approximately 6 feet in length. A bull shark, isn't that one of the more aggressive sharks? I think it is. I think bull sharks actually statistically account for most human attacks overall. I could be wrong on that. That's what I heard. Yeah, bull sharks you do not want to mess with. The article says the most common sharks implicated in attacks on humans include the great white shark, tiger shark, and bull shark. These are known as the big three due to their size and ability to inflict serious injuries. Yeah, so if you see one, any shark, I mean, how do you approach any shark at this point? I mean, we've seen the movies, we've heard the stories. I don't get it, really. Maybe there's alcohol involved. That could be. Now, there are various images of the scene. I don't recommend looking at them if you want to hold on to your breakfast. Images show the woman on the ground with people around her trying to stop the bleeding from her arms. Footage from another tourist shows the shark nearby swimming in the area. A witness on the beach said the shark could be seen in the water for around 40 minutes prior to this. So they knew the shark. They all knew the shark was there. This lady was like, I'm going to engage with the I'm going to engage with it. And her husband was there. Another relative was there. Nobody was like, hey, Carol, don't engage with the shark. This would be a better idea if you don't engage with it. You know, we know you like your Instagram and all that, but, you know, maybe in this instance, steer clear of a 6-foot bull shark. I mean, these things can so be avoided by using common sense. With these predators, I mean, you do not engage, you do not take a picture, you don't inspect, you do not make them the center of a gender reveal party. I mean, stay clear is what they advise, and it's for good reason. Yeah, you're going to catch a tooth missile, and then now next thing you know, you don't have arms. I mean, they might make some selfie stick prosthetics that this woman might want after this so she can keep taking her selfies. But in general, you know, you don't want to operate this way in life. And you know that old saying, bite off my hand once, shame on me. Bite off my hand twice, you can't bite my hand off again. Have you heard of the steroid Olympics Or the enhanced games? Well, President Donald Trump's eldest son, Donnie Jr., is the latest to invest in this enhanced games, which critics are really calling the steroid Olympics. The enhanced games would allow natural athletes and athletes who use legal performance-enhancing drugs to compete against each other in the hope of breaking world records. Oh, so you mean all pro sports in the 80s is coming back? I mean, that's what it was. Everybody on steroids. Now, let's get some information on whether or not this is even going forward. I mean, I imagine there's going to be a lot of pushback. The enhanced games is a controversial project. No kidding. Given that performance-enhancing drugs have historically been banned from professional sports and the Olympic Games, as they are seen as giving athletes an unfair advantage. Also, they can have heart attacks right on the field, so if you want to see people die on the basketball court, then you probably would support this. Many scandals have arisen over athletes secretly taking banned substances, but the enhanced games would allow competitors to openly and safely use almost all legal performance-enhancing drugs for what supporters believe is a way to push the limits of the sports world. As the enhanced games puts it, a way to build superhumanity. Well, I mean, if you want to run an experiment to test the absolute limits of the human body, in case, I don't know, aliens come, we might want to know what we're capable of. I mean, how high exactly can a human being jump, with the chemicals? I mean, if that's the case, so you want to expand it to just legal performance-enhancing drugs. You want to allow illegal performance-enhancing drugs as well. In fact, you probably should for the enhanced games. I mean, why stop at legal? Just go the whole distance on this. You don't pussyfoot around what we're talking about here. You want to see people on the drugs? Well, just push it to the limit. I'm curious. Reminds me of that Saturday Night Live sketch from a long time ago. The All Drugs Olympics. Is that what it was called? The All Drug Olympics. And then Phil Hartman was lifting weights and his arms pop off and blood goes everywhere. They're like, oh, this didn't end well. Very funny sketch. Kind of reminds me of that. Why stop at the drugs too? I mean, how about like any kind of body modifications in the sports? That'd be amazing. You got a third leg on a marathon runner. Or like a boxer with like elephant noses as arms. What do they call an elephant's nose? Is that a tusk? A snout? I think it's a snout. The tusk is I believe that's the hard horn thing that comes out. It's like very spiky. They use it as a weapon. I mean, put 2 tusks on a human being too. Have a couple of tusks wrestlers. This is getting out of control. I'm just trying to use my imagination here. Okay, back into the article. We got points of view. For instance, the World Anti-Doping Agency, also known as WADA. Have you guys heard of the World Anti-Doping Agency? And the International Olympics Committee have expressed deep concerns over the enhanced games. Is that it? Just concerns? I'm sure you want to express something stronger than just deep concerns, given how you've stated that you feel about these issues over the years. Now, what to know about the enhanced games? Is this going to happen, or is it just mythology? It was announced Thursday of last week that they received a multi-million-dollar investment for the enhanced games. Donnie Trump Jr. was involved in that. Nice to know he's keeping busy and doing productive things in life. The enhanced games called the investment a monumental step forward. And they say they were happy because it validates what they're doing. The enhanced games are disruptive. They're thought-provoking. It's challenging norms, which is very much aligned with everything the president and this new American golden age is all about. That was a quote from Donnie Jr., apparently. The enhanced games represents the future. Real competition, real freedom, real records being smashed. Yeah, but those records are always going to have an asterisk next to them. They will perpetually be unregarded as far as records goes. They'll never call them legitimate. Just like they don't recognize like Mark McGwire's and Barry Bonds' home run records, really, in Major League Baseball, because they're forever tainted because those athletes used performance-enhancing drugs. It says the American dominance on the world stage is something that the MAGA movement is all about. All right, easy now. The American dominance, honestly. Yeah, look at mine. It's bigger than yours. Come on now. Let's have the contest. Okay, it also says here that the enhanced games will pay athletes to compete. There will also be rank-based prize money. A $250,000 bonus will be given to competitors who break current world records, and another bonus of $1 million will be given to any athlete who can break the 50-meter freestyle swimming and 100-meter sprint world record. So they really want to break these records using the juice. The Juice Games. Okay, if you're wondering where will these juiced games take place, the Enhanced Games is committed to choosing a host city that has existing infrastructure for the event to make it much cheaper, more profitably, and more cost efficient. So we don't know yet where that'll be. My guess is it's going to be Florida, because this sounds like an event that Florida man can really shine in. You know, they got all the chemicals already down there. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, such a funny name, anti-doping. Who uses this word anymore? You a bunch of dopers? What were you doing behind that building? Doping? Were you doping? Taking the dope? That just tells you the average age of the person on that agency. We won't tolerate any druggies. Okay, so the World Anti-Doping Agency has some things to say about this. They say these games are dangerous and irresponsible. And they say, quote, clearly this event would jeopardize both by promoting the use of potentially harmful substances and methods. As we have seen through history, performance-enhancing drugs have taken a terrible physical and mental toll on many athletes. Some have died. And, of course, someone representing the Enhanced Games says, the Enhanced Games aren't just another sports league. They're a declaration of freedom. We're giving back power to the athletes and the fans, and we can't wait to see history being made. Yeah, you got two groups. On the one hand, they're like, what about promoting drugs? And on the other hand, you have, no, it's all about freedom to do what you want. You know, the story of America. Will the Enhanced Games promote performance-enhancing drugs? You think kids will watch these games and be like, I want to take performance-enhancing drugs? Yeah, there'll be some. Just like there's, kids that watch our overly violent, entertainment media and decide to also act violent. I mean, this is just how it is. So this is why parenting's important at the end of the day. Parenting. As Bill Belichick says, do your job. The article ends by saying the very first Enhanced Games, also known as the Steroid Olympics, are expected to take place late this year or early next year. The location and dates will be announced as a host city is in the process of being selected. Yeah, good luck finding a city for that, because there's just so much, there's going to be a lot of pressure for cities not to host this. Just how it is. Cities are going to, city councils are going to get together and be like, well, look at, this sends a bad message. What if someone dies? We approve this. But then other people will be like, well, what about the money? They're going to give us a lot of money, and maybe that'll sway some city that's struggling. I guess it'll remain to be seen whether or not we're all going to be able to experience the meth marathon or the heroin shot put. Can you think of any others? The crack cocaine kayak competition. There's a lot of alliteration in there, huh? That was a good one. Lastly, I'll just say, hopefully there's a cocaine event that Donnie Jr. can participate in. I heard he really likes skiing.
When you check out at the pharmacy, you see the journey from idea to medicine, thanks to our intellectual property system, or IP for short. IP safeguards inventions, like a new way to prevent seizures or lower cholesterol. And IP supports competition from other brands. Then, lower-cost generics, which are 90% of prescriptions filled in the U.S. Innovation, competition, lower costs, thanks to IP. Learn more at phrma.org/IP Works Wonders.
The Mozambique police warn bald men after ritual attacks on bald men. We have here suspects arrested in the central district of Milange, Mozambique, where some killings have occurred. What's behind these killings? Well, some sort of hocus pocus, some mythology. The belief is that the head of a bald man contains gold. Some group thinks the head of a bald man contains gold. Well, it's probably the biggest compliment that's ever been given bald men. Contains gold. Where do you get this idea? Now, they interviewed the head of police here in the capital, Maputo, who says he thinks the notion of a bald head containing gold is a ruse by witch doctors to get clients to take a person's head to them. Why would witch doctors want heads delivered to them? They get power from the heads? There's still witch doctors, man, out there. I mean, you would think that we would get over this now. 2025, there's still witch doctors. Here's a quote from the commander over there. Commander Diaz says, their motive comes from superstition and culture. The local community thinks bald individuals are rich. Wow. Well, maybe they've seen photos of Jeff Bezos, and they're like, oh, okay, the richest man in the world? Oh, look at that. Where do you think he keeps his gold? Probably in his head. It is shiny. Light really reflects strongly off it. So I can see where they think that it might be made of gold. We have a security spokesperson in the region named Miguel who said that one of the victims had his head cut off and his organs removed. What is going on over here in Mozambique? The organs were to be used in rituals to advance the wealth of clients in Tanzania and Malawi. There has been a spate, S-P-A-T-E. I think that means a lot or a few. It might mean a few. A spate. We should all start using this word, a spate. I have a spate of spatulas. That means I only have a few. A spate of killings of people with albinism. This story is like on LSD here. I feel like I'm reading an LSD story. Okay, so there has been a spate of killings of people with albinism in East Africa in recent years, with their body parts used to make charms and potions by witch doctors. What does that have to do with the gold people? I guess it's on the same level of superstition, so sure. That's the end of the article, though. I need some more information about the bald heads. We're gonna chase those crazy bald heads out of town. You guys ever heard this Bob Marley song, Crazy Bald Heads? There's a great scat. There's a legendary scat in there where he goes, "Stilly little steep steep stop deep still your dope stop steep ba da ba dee ba dee sta diddly 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 steep dee deep sta da dope dop stay do de dre." And that was a perfect rendition of it. If you want to go listen to it, you can hold it up next to mine, and you'll see that I completely nailed it because I'm awesome. Okay, I've had to go look for another article to get some more details, and sadly, this story is originally from 2017. But I had an article that was dated like this week or last week. Oh, man, you just can't trust the internet. So this story really is from 2017, it turns out, which makes me ask, how did I not cover this? Like, this all seems new to me. Like, I would have totally come across this in 2017. I believe I was doing the podcast back then. Was I not? I think so. Anyways, hey, we're here for entertainment anyways. So far, 5 bald men back then in 2017 have been killed in central Mozambique. And it says that bald men all across the country are afraid, or were afraid in 2017, of exposing their scalps. They could still be afraid. I don't know if they've stopped beheading bald men over there in Mozambique. It says some bald men are staying indoors these days. Others hide their baldness with caps. Did anybody open up a successful wig stand on the streets of Mozambique at that time, I wonder? Would have been a good time for that. During his regular press briefing that week, spokesperson for Mozambique's General Police Command said the phenomenon was new to the country. He threatened to take some tough measures against those involved. The police commander accused traditional healers, also known as witch doctors, of conniving with the murderers of bald people because of the cultural belief that their heads contain gold. It is also possible that the goal is to obtain body parts to use in rituals aimed at bringing wealth. The reason that albinos have been targeted for their body parts in some countries is this. Okay, so that's where it's related to the albinos. Imagine that. You convince people that the body parts of albino people will bring you wealth. I mean, does it get any more trippy than that idea? I mean, I know we like to say that the people in the U.S. are really walking around with some stones inside their head, but like the other parts of the world too. I mean, to believe somebody's head contains gold, I don't even know where that comes from. I mean, well, on the bright side, it's better than the testicles, right? But I mean, imagine if you could just totally, if a lot of people believed that in the States way back when during the gold rush, that would have been a lot different outcome. There's gold in them there heads. I'm glad this is not currently going on right now. I assume it's not. This is an older story. Because, otherwise, we'd have to let Howie Mandel and Charles Barkley know, do not visit Mozambique.
Oh, Pod Daddy.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
Good luck with your life, man.
Oh my God, the host of this podcast just goes on rants and raves, and occasionally he'll just scat for no reason. It's like so annoying. Just like give us the weird news, man. Like, what's wrong? That was my impression of the one of the reviews that I'm about to get from this episode. Did you just read the news? What's wrong with you? Can't you just act like a robot and do exactly what AI can do? And just read the article. And you just imagine that there's people out in the world like that. Just like the biggest curmudgeons you've ever seen. How do people live with people like that? It blows my mind. Anyways, I adore you all. Thank you for jumping on board and listening to another episode of the Weird AF News Podcast. I hope you had a lovely weekend. This is President's Day today. It's a holiday. A lot of you might have the day off. I don't know. If you're a government employee, you do. Although I think all the government employees just got fired, so I'm not sure if they exist. Teachers have it off, right? Your teachers have it off, I think. Banks are closed as well. It's a quasi-holiday, apparently. Anyways, hope you had a lovely weekend. As I said, I had a tremendous time doing shows and eating some very, very good food. Oh, you're curious? What kind of food did you eat, Jonesy? I had homemade wontons. You ever have that? Yeah. My friend had a little wonton making party. Go over there making wontons. I actually made a few. They were okay. They're okay. They weren't the best, you know. The key to the wonton is to not put too much filling in it and to make it as tight as you can around the edges. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, nothing beats drinking some sake, making some wontons, and then eating the wontons that you just made, bro. Come on, man. It's a wonton party, bro. It's a wonton party. You coming to a wonton party? I'll tell you, that's two parties that I went to that were specific to making food. The other one was a tamale making party. I made tamales, so yeah, two things this year that I've done. Actually, the tamale making party technically was in 2024 in December, so. But yeah, within the past few months, though, I went to some food making parties, and I got to say, this is a great way to spend an afternoon. I mean, it was amazing, and you get introduced to usually food from some other culture, which is awesome. And yeah, who doesn't like wontons? It's delicious. Anyways, I'm rambling now. If you want to support me, I don't know why you would, but I got a website, weirdafnews.com, and then over there you can join the Patreon, and you can you buy me a coffee if you want. But, you know, just disclaimer, I may spend that coffee money on something else. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's all right. I'll tell you, it's performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, that's what I'm going to spend it on. All right, I'm going to participate in these in these upcoming enhanced games. Getting ready for it. Also, if you're a member of the Patreon, heads up, I recorded a bonus episode over the weekend, so I'm just going to edit it and put it on up there, so you should expect that soon. It's an hour-long episode with my buddy Adam, another comedian and podcast host, and it's very, very good. Awesome bonus episode. I'm very, very proud of it and excited to release it on the Patreon. Yeah, that's what you get when you guys join the Patreon, guys. You get the bonus episodes. Patreon.com/weirdafnews. Why wouldn't you join? You know, it's a good thing to do in the universe.